On to the next major conference, which is the Bethesda conference.
Oh boy.
I Yeah, the Bethesda conference wasn't that great, guys. It was a lot of stuff that we were they didn't announce anything new, did they? Well, I guess Wolfenstein, but that's at
Yeah.
the very bottom. So, yeah,
Well,
I guess it was just...
Wolfenstein and The Evil Within.
Also, the Bethesda conference was pretty short too.
Yeah, very actually. So let's just dive right in. Doom VR looks honestly doesn't look all that fun. There's a lot of slowdown and a lot of teleporting around.
Yeah, because I mean, obviously you can't do
Yeah, you would
running.
not want to Doom in VR. That you would projectile vomit.
And honestly, it still looks like it might be vomit inducing because
Yeah, that's my note as well. It still looks like it would cause a lot of vomit. Because you're doing a lot of teleporting around, you're doing a lot of slowdown and a lot of, honestly, disorienting things.
yeah. I mean, it might not be vomit inducing, but it definitely would be headache inducing.
And honestly, Doom slowed down doesn't seem fun.
Nope, that was Doom 3, which was slowed down.
And next up on the VR train is Fallout 4, which looks a lot more like the standard game.
Yeah. I couldn't really tell if it was slowed down or anything. Which, I mean, you don't run that fast in Fallout 4.
It looked like it may have been a little bit, but or it may just be, the fact that, it requires a lot of power behind it to run Fallout at the frame rate you need for VR.
Yeah.
Because the Fallout engine is, well, I should say the Bethesda engine, because they use it in everything, is not particularly optimized anymore. It's been used and added on and added on. And it's not, well, particularly efficient.
Yeah.
And to have the frame rate that you need for Fallout, well, they probably have to rebuild most of the game, and probably explains its price point.
Yeah. Yeah, it
is a $60 title. And the fun part is that they do not mention a word on their store page about the DLC. Are they going to sell another season pass for this thing?
I wouldn't be surprised if they did. Also, there's no discount or anything if you own Fallout 4 and all the DLC as well. It's straight up $60. I mean, it does look really good, I will say. And I mean, it kind of, if they did really have to go and rebuild the entire game, which if they did, I think they should tell us, because that would have people screaming a lot less. If that's the case, I don't mind paying $60 for it, But if they're just jerking us around, they just, I don't know, ported it over or VRified it and added a few little things to it, and then are selling again for $60. Shame on you, Bethesda. You've already got Skyrim, which Skyrim VR was mentioned later somewhere, but it wasn't in the Bethesda conference.
Yeah.
It was just something that they talked about on the show floor.
I think that may have been the Sony conference, maybe, because Sony had a long list of VR titles that they announced.
That's where it came from, PSVR.
But let's see, Elder Scrolls Morrowind looks nice, but does it really capture the essence of Morrowind? Because Morrowind was a very deep and it was a deep RPG, but it was also a very mysterious RPG. It required you to pay attention to what was going on. It felt like a bridge between the old CRPGs and a 3D RPG like you see today.
I doubt it. I mean, I like the Elder Scrolls Online. I've played it quite a bit and enjoy it, but I mean, it's even more simplified in a lot of ways than Skyrim, because it's an MMO, and there's a lot of MMO questing in it, so...
Go collect bear asses.
Doubtful.
Which they showed the bear at the beginning of the Bethesda conference.
Yeah.
And talking about how all the streamers cared about the bear for some reason.
Yeah.
This was another conference where they focused a lot on streamers and a lot on YouTubers.
I did say, though, why are they... Something about the bear, it's the most difficult enemy in Skyrim or something like that. I don't remember what I tweeted. Something snarky about the bear.
The most difficult enemy in Skyrim was my level of interest in the game. And then I will mention the Creation Club is next. We're going to move that to the end of this, because this is going to be a long and somewhat ranty topic.
Right.
So we're going to move that to the end to have that be our closing words, I think.
Sure. So yeah, next after that was Elder Scrolls Legends, which
hey look, an expansion focusing on Skyrim.
Yeah, but I mean, I think that'll be fun. I enjoyed Elder Scrolls Legends story mode way more than just playing it. I mean, outside of that, it's mostly just Hearthstone with lanes.
Well, my note for this is, as a CCG, is there more to say?
Yeah, fair enough. Hopefully it's free. Did they say if it was going to cost money?
No, they didn't.
Okay, hopefully it's a free expansion.
Honestly, usually these expansions cost something. It's either you can pay for it with the in-game money or you could just buy it outright. They're adopting the Hearthstone model.
Right.
Then let's see, Skyrim Switch. Motion controls, goody.
Yeah.
But there was a couple things that they that was more covered in the Nintendo conference or infomercial or whatever, is that the Legend of Zelda has items in it, and it seems like it's if you use a Legend of Zelda amiibo. So guess what? You got physical DLC now.
Yep, of course you do.
And I do have to wonder about mod capability because they didn't say a damn thing about it, and that is a thing for the consoles now.
It probably won't be on the Switch.
Or at least for now. Okay,
yeah.
Dishonored, Death of the Outsider. Not very stealthy, were they?
No, they're not.
They played the game like I did when I played a little bit of Dishonored. Loud and messy.
Yep, that's how I play too. I mean, it looks neat if you're into Dishonored, but I mean, I haven't played Dishonored 2, and I don't know if I will. I mean, Dishonored 1 was fun, but...
Yeah, this seems that it's a standalone expansion to Dishonored 2, essentially wrapping up the story if the subtitle is anything to go by.
Yeah.
So, let's see. Quake Esports!
Yep.
Oh, this was probably the worst esports segment that they had at E3. Just the players that they showed had... they were hitting everything except their opponent.
Yeah. One of my notes is, they're having a forced esports tournament.
Goody.
Yeah. They do have BJ Blazkowicz, though, so that's pretty cool. I didn't, it didn't click in my mind until it happened. I was like, how did he wind up in this game? And then I went, oh yeah, Bethesda owns both of those properties. I don't know why that hadn't clicked in my mind until just then, but it did. I mean, it looks fine, I guess. I don't know if I'll play it. I wasn't the biggest Quake person before, and I don't know if I'll be now. But, I mean, I'm sure there are people out there who are very excited for them and are very excited for it, and it looks decent enough, I guess. It's still very early, or it still looks very early, so we'll see.
Yeah. And talking about other games that look kind of early because they didn't really talk about this at all. The Evil Within 2.
Yeah.
I see someone has either gotten into Kojima's drugs or just kidnapped Kojima.
I really thought it was some kind of Kojima thing at the beginning. And then I figured out partway through the trailer, like, oh, that's The Evil Within. It's probably like a sequel or something.
Yeah, I never played The Evil Within, so yeah, I couldn't make that connection at all. But my notes are Kojima? Question mark.
Yeah, I mean, I don't really like The Evil Within. It wasn't a very good game, and also it's a horror game, and I don't really like horror games. So
yeah, it is releasing on Friday the 13th, whatever. Friday the 13th is towards the end of the year. Didn't really mark that. Didn't care.
Mm-hmm.
And let's see, Wolfenstein: A New Colossus.
That looked really good.
I did like the opening, with all the different movies, the kind of the riffs on it, and then the cat monkey thing. And I was asking, okay, so is the cat monkey thing, could that be a playable character? Is that going to be a pre-order bonus?
Oh, yeah, I really liked Wolfenstein: The New Order, and I'm glad to see that they're continuing it. Like, obviously, at the end of, if you play The New Order, at the end of the game, you're like, okay, this obviously is not the end. You've done well, but there's still a lot of Nazis left to kill. So
yeah, it needed the MST3K guys at the bottom of it, though.
But the thing that excited me the most about the trailer was that it appears that BJ goes on a Nazi killing spree in a wheelchair.
He's a Nazi handy-capable murder machine.
I was really happy about that.
And
But,
also, at the end, the acid cartoon characters, which probably explains the next conference, by the way.
Yeah. This
Yeah,
looks...
that was around the time that the drugs would kick in.
Yeah.
But it was very jarring. It wasn't even... it looked like it was animated on top of the gameplay.
Yeah. I wasn't sure what they were going for with that. Like, I think they're just trying to reinforce that it's like the late 60s, early 70s.
Look, it's the 60s, we have drugs. Ha ha ha.
Yeah, I think that's what
and
they
a
were
black
doing,
girl
but...
and a black woman with a huge afro that would make Bob Ross go, whoa, tone it down.
I have mad respect for that girl's afro. Used to have an afro. It was glorious. My friends called me Q-Tip.
Oh my. Okay, so since we talked about respect, should we talk about the Creation Club? Because
Yes.
we got a tour through this conference.
There was a lot less. The Bethesda conference was really short. Like, we were both like, wait, it's over? Because it only went for like 35 or 40 minutes.
Yeah, the Creator Club, I think, is the thing that most people are talking about right now because, it is basically, well, not quite, but close to it. Bethesda dipping their toes into paid mods again.
Before you start, because I did some homework on this.
Yeah, I did some homework on it as well. Essentially, it's sort of a bridge between paid mods and a DLC, mini DLC marketplace. I think that's the best way to describe it. Perhaps kind of like the Steam Workshop on some of their paid stuff, but that is usually limited to cosmetic stuff, so it's not as good of a comparison.
Right, so basically, at least at this point, I'm not going to say they never will, because I'm not going to give Bethesda the benefit of the doubt anymore, but free mods are not going
I'll just wait till
away.
you hear my rant.
You can still submit free mods, just like to all of their like systems now, like you can currently. But now there's this thing called the Creation Club, where that modders can sign up for or apply to. Not 100% sure how that process works yet.
It seemed like it's an application procedure. They haven't. I don't think they put it up yet. This is going to be, at least for the time being, Fallout 4 and Skyrim Special Edition. And care to guess what the Steam reviews are doing for that?
No, probably terrible. The creator tools have existed for a while. Like, you could get the tools that they're using from the Bethesda launcher for months at this point. God, it's been in beta for a long time. So they announced it like it was brand new, but these tools have existed for a while. I guess they just brought it out of beta or something. But anyways, back to the process itself. Like, a modder can apply to be a part of this program, and then their work is submitted, and they basically get like developer milestones where they get paid for doing their work. So it's almost like they're a contractor working. Yeah, but they've
specifically
Bethesda.
said that. And here's probably the key difference between what the paid mods were with Steam and this system is that you cannot pull something that you've already made from the mod pool, essentially, and put it onto the marketplace. It has to be new things.
Right.
Which that is probably going to appease a lot of people.
Yeah. They've also said that they're going to be...
Well, you also have the flip side of that is that people that are very prolific modders that get into the system, there's not a lot of really rewards to keep your old mods up to date if you get into this, because you want to focus on what's paying the bills.
Well, you know that they'll make exceptions, though. They just will. The policy is there for people who aren't.
I'm not talking about the policy. I'm talking about the modders. Yeah, the ones that get into this. And well, that's more getting into my criticism of it and my a little bit of fear of it.
Right, but so I mean, that's free mods. At least at this point, are not going away. Bethesda has said that they are going to heavily curate the system and ensure that all of the mods are compatible with the other mods in this program and the base game, so that they're supported and things don't break during updates.
Yeah, which that also is a little tough because mods are constantly being conflicting. So if someone puts something in one spot, well, that completely cordons off that spot. There's only so much room in these games.
Well, I think that's what the creator toolkits are for, to help with that at least. Like, you have to submit your stuff into the toolkit and make sure that it basically passes inspection, I guess. I don't know. I'm not a modder, so I don't know how that works, but I assume that's what that's for, to help streamline that process a little bit. But
I just know that there's been times that I've installed mods, for Skyrim even, when I would put two mods in that occupied the same place. Either they conflicted and completely crashed the game, or you would walk up and you would see two houses clipping over one another. So it makes me wonder how they're going to handle mods that go to a particular location on the actual in-game map.
well, I know that in the both Fallout 4, like using the actual Bethesda like built-in mod system, and in Skyrim Remastered, that there's a lot of stuff that will tell you what's compatible and what's not compatible, and where you have overlap.
Yeah, true.
They've
I
done
haven't
at least
used
a
the special edition. I've used the regular Skyrim.
They've done a really good job actually of like pointing out, like, look, you've got these two mods that are modifying the same files, and it looks like they're going to conflict. You can try it and see if it works, but we don't recommend you do this. So somehow they've got that working fairly well. And I mean, it seems to be pretty accurate. I've purposefully done conflicting mods just to see what happens and if it's right. And 9 times out of 10, the game crashes or doesn't run well. And then you go and take out one of the mods and it runs fine. So they've done a pretty good job with that, at least. But I think that's all I need to explain. Or that's all we need to explain before we move forward with this discussion. So
yeah,
I think I'm done unless you bring up something that I forgot. But
we may bring up something in our thoughts on this. It is a step forward. I'm not sure if I'll like it, mostly because I fear that it's going to hurt a lot of the teamwork between different modders. Because if one person gets in, they may not want to work with other modders anymore. And that's a lot that happens with the modding community, or at least in the old Skyrim community. Like I said, I haven't played the special edition, which is something completely different. And I haven't even touched Fallout 4. As a matter of fact, I pulled Fallout 4 completely off my wish list after this, because I have no interest in it. I'm concerned about the teamwork. I'm concerned mostly about what this is going to do with future Bethesda titles. Because is this going to just encourage Bethesda to essentially release a framework for Elder Scrolls 6, whenever that gets made? Because it's not even in development yet. So we're looking at, probably 7 or 8 years until the next Elder Scrolls game. Is it just going to encourage them to, release a very bare bones game and let the modders come in and put in all the micro DLC? If so, fuck them.
Actually, I would be okay with that if the base game was like, I don't know, 10, 15, 20 bucks. And it's like, hey,
it wouldn't be. That's the thing. This is Bethesda. They've been gouging people for ages. Just look at Fallout 4 VR. Look at how they handled the season pass for Fallout 4. I mean, I'm just seeing time and time again how they have been anti-consumer. And this Creator Club requires a level of respect and a level of trust in Bethesda that has been gone from me for years because of how they treated Skyrim and how they've treated the Fallout series. And I can't deal with Bethesda anymore. So to hell with them.
I don't have as much trust for them as I used to because of the way they've behaved the last couple of years. But I'm willing to give them the benefit of the doubt on this one, at least to see how it goes.
I'm throwing in their entire thing with how they handled review copies as well. I almost forgot about that.
Yeah, well, I mean, that was what I was talking about mostly. But I'm a big fan of supporting modders. And yes, absolutely, you can go and find your favorite modders and find their Patreon or find their donation page or whatever. But having a system that brings that much more easily to the masses I think is a good thing because more modders can get paid for the hard work that they do and maybe do it as a part-time job or maybe even hell a full-time job. But I think that this is one of those things that it's got good intentions, and on paper it seems to be starting out in the right direction. So I'm willing to give them a shot just to see where it goes, but I don't have absolute confidence that they'll get it right. So I'm going to give it a shot, but I'm not holding my breath.
Well, this may not even be for us. That's the thing, is that I think where this is going to be big is not even just consoles, but the PlayStation 4 in particular, because of how backward Sony is with their online. Because the PlayStation 4 is very restrictive on what you could do with mods. But if anything gets on the Creator Club, or whatever they eventually call the marketplace, that may be their backdoor into it. So maybe this is pro-consumer, but it's just a very, very small subset of it. It's just, I'm just so sick and tired of Bethesda. I really am.
The biggest problem that I have with it is that it uses credits.
Oh, don't get me started on that.
I hate that. Just let us pay money. Just,
Well, that's the
money.
thing. It's a psychological trick.
I know. I just want to pay money. Don't make me buy credits and try and figure out exactly how I can get the exact amount of credits that I need. Just let me pay money for stuff. I would gladly give people money all day long, but I don't want to give them credits.
And I should also say that their choice in what they showed in the video for things that may show up in this didn't instill confidence in me either.
Like what? What are you talking about? Like what stuff?
Oh, let's see. In the Fallout 4, they had a reskin of furniture. They had a reskin or a new version of the power suit that they called horse armor.
Horse armor. I thought that was funny. It's a good callback.
Yeah, a callback to another DLC controversy. That is really fucking intelligent.
I thought it was really good. I thought it was clever.
I thought it was about the dumbest thing outside of the next conference that we have.
It was self-deprecating humor is what I thought about that. I got a chuckle out of it.
I didn't.
Yeah, but you're Mr. Grumpy Pants.
And?
No, that's pretty much it.
It's just what they put in the video, what they talked about. It just doesn't instill confidence in me that they'll do the proper curation of this to make it worthwhile. And I do think it's a better thing that they don't just open it up to the masses. That way we don't have the highly detailed horse genitalia like we did with Skyrim.
But I love an accurate to life horse anus. Doesn't everybody?
It's just I'm so sick of Bethesda's practices that I can't deal with them anymore.
That is fair enough.
And I think that may be a lot of where I'm coming from with me being against this, is that it just requires trust that I just haven't had for years because of just everything that they've pulled.
That's fair enough. I'm not going to try and argue you down from your position. Also, I'm not going to really defend them. I just wanted to make sure that we knew actually what was going on, at least as best we could going in. So,
yeah, and I think I've been incredibly fair with this as well. At least considering my position.
Yeah, I mean, I see your point of view perfectly well. That's why I'm not going to try and talk you down. I think it's a valid position. I just didn't distrust them as much, or don't distrust them as much. I mean, yeah. So we're just coming from two different points on it. The only other thing that I want to say about the Bethesda conference was I thought the Fallout World thing, like that they were using as their frame, was kind of cute. Or like the Bethesda World or whatever they called it. I just put Fallout for kids.
They were calling it Bethesda World.
Yeah, I thought that was cute and kind
of fun. It was an interesting framing device, particularly since they had a Fallout DLC centered around a theme park as well.
Yeah, the Nuka-Cola World. But, yeah, is that all you want to say about it?
Yeah, I think so. I just... like I said, I pulled Fallout 4 off my wish list entirely, and I think I'm not going to do anything for Fallout or anything for Bethesda. Which saddens me because I actually had on my game list several Bethesda games that I wanted to eventually play, but Not anymore.
That's fair. I'll just continue to love Bethesda over here by myself. Okay. Give me a timestamp.
2:18:44. Counting out the silence, of course.
Yeah, of course. 2:18:44.